a global icon, a symbol of beauty and glamour for decades. Suddenly stepping into the spotlight with a look so dramatically different that it sends shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. That's exactly what happened when Pamela Anderson, the woman who made blonde hair her signature for over 30 years, debuted a stunning head of vibrant red hair. The internet practically broke, media outlets scrambled to cover the story, and fans around the world did a collective double take. But this isn't just about a simple hair color change. Oh no, this is about reinvention, about challenging the very image that made you famous. About daring to show the world a different side of yourself when everyone thought they already knew everything about you. Today, we're diving deep into Pamela Anderson's shocking transformation from iconic blonde to ravishing redhead, exploring what this change means for her career, her legacy, and perhaps most importantly, for her as a person finding new ways to express herself after decades in the unforgiving spotlight of fame. To truly understand the magnitude of this change, we need to travel back in time to the beginning of Pamela Anderson's journey to Born in Ladysmith, British Columbia, Canada. On July 1, 1967, Pamela Denise Anderson didn't exactly have a typical path to Hollywood fame. Her life changed forever in 1989 when she attended ABC Lions football game in Vancouver. Dressed in a Labatt Spear t-shirt, the camera focused on her, and when she appeared on the Jumbotron, the crowd went wild. Labatt's immediately offered her a modeling contract, and just like that, the blonde bombshell was born. It was this moment that set the stage for what would become one of the most recognizable images in pop culture history, Pamela Anderson. With her flowing golden locks and captivating smile, from there, Pamela's rise was meteoric. She moved to Los Angeles, graced the cover of Playboy magazine in October 1989, and became the Playmate of the Month for February 1990. Her blonde hair wasn't just part of her look, it was central to her brand. When she landed the role of C.J. Parker on Baywatch in 1992, running along the beach in that iconic red swimsuit with her blonde hair flowing behind her, she cemented her status as a global sex symbol. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, whether she was starring in movies like Barbed Wire, appearing in countless magazines, or making headlines with her high-profile relationships, one thing remained constant: that signature blonde hair. Think about it for a moment. Can you even picture Pamela Anderson without her blonde hair? For generations of people who grew up watching her on television or seeing her on magazine covers, the answer is probably no. Her blonde hair was as much a part of her identity as her famous figure or her infectious laugh. It was her armor, her trademark, the thing that made her instantly recognizable in a sea of Hollywood hopefuls. In many ways, her blonde hair had become a character in itself, playing a leading role in the story of Pamela Anderson. So you can imagine the sheer astonishment when, after decades of being the world's most famous blonde, Pamela Anderson stepped out with fiery red locks. The transformation wasn't subtle, it was bold, vibrant, and impossible to ignore. The debut happened at a high-profile event, with cameras flashing as she posed on the red carpet, looking confident and radiant in her new look. Social media erupted within minutes, with fans and celebrities alike expressing their shock and admiration. Hashtags trended, news articles were published, and television entertainment segments dedicated airtime to discussing what many were calling the end of an era. But here's what's fascinating. This wasn't just a spontaneous decision made on a whim. Pamela had been teasing the possibility of a change for months. In interviews leading up to the reveal, she had spoken about feeling ready for something new, for a different way of expressing herself. She had hinted that after so many years in the public eye, she was craving a change that would reflect her growth as a person. And what better way to signal a new chapter than by changing the one thing that had defined her image for over 3 decades? The reaction to Pamela's red hair was immediate and intense. Some fans were ecstatic, praising her bravery and commenting on how stunning she looked with the new color. Others were in disbelief, with many saying they barely recognized her at first glance. Fashion and beauty experts weighed in, analyzing how the red complemented her complexion and brought out different features in her face. Psychologists even chimed in, discussing the significance of such a dramatic change for someone whose image had been so consistent for so long. What many people don't realize is that Pamela Anderson's relationship with her famous blonde hair was complicated. In her 2023 documentary Pamela, A Love Story, she opened up about the pressures of maintaining her image and how her appearance often overshadowed her other talents and aspirations. She spoke candidly about feeling pigeonholed by her sex symbol status and the struggle to be taken seriously in an industry that often values looks over substance. By changing her hair color, she wasn't just making a fashion statement, she was reclaiming her narrative and challenging people to see her differently. The timing of this transformation is particularly significant. Pamela Anderson has been experiencing something of a career renaissance in recent years. Her critically acclaimed performance in the Broadway, Chicago, and her Netflix documentary have shown a different side of the actress, one who is thoughtful, self-aware, and determined to redefine herself on her own terms. The red hair debut coincided with this new phase of her career, symbolizing a break from her past and a bold step into her future. It's worth noting that Pamela isn't the first celebrity to make a dramatic hair change that sent shockwaves through popular culture. Remember when Jennifer Aniston, known for her Rachel haircut, chopped off her hair into a bob? Or when Katy Perry went from her signature black locks to bright blonde? These moments become cultural touchstones because they challenge our perception of celebrities we thought we knew so well. But Pamela's transformation feels different, somehow more profound. Perhaps because her blonde hair was so iconic, so central to her identity for so many years. The process of going from blonde to vibrant red isn't as simple as just applying a new color. Hair experts have explained that to achieve such a dramatic red, Pamela likely had to undergo a significant color process. Going from blonde to red typically requires filling the hair with pigment to create a rich base before applying the red tones. It's a time-consuming and expensive process that requires commitment. This wasn't just a temporary change for a role or a quick experiment. This was a deliberate, calculated transformation that signals a new direction. In the days and weeks following the debut, Pamela Anderson embraced her new look with confidence. She appeared on talk shows, graced magazine covers, and attended events, all with her fiery red hair taking center stage. What was most remarkable was how comfortable she seemed in her new skin, as if this red-haired version of herself had been there all along, waiting for the right moment to emerge. In interviews, she spoke about how liberating the change felt, how it allowed her to express a different side of her personality that had been hidden for years. The cultural impact of Pamela's transformation extends beyond just celebrity gossip. It raises interesting questions about identity, image, and the pressure on public figures to maintain a consistent brand. In an age where authenticity is increasingly valued, Pamela's decision to change such a fundamental aspect of her image can be seen as an act of courage, a refusal to be trapped by others' expectations of who she should be. It's a reminder that even the most iconic figures have the right to evolve and grow, to surprise us and themselves. Looking at Pamela Anderson's career trajectory, this hair transformation makes perfect sense. After decades of being defined primarily by her appearance, she has been working diligently to showcase her other talents and interests. From her work as an animal rights activist to her forays into writing and design, Pamela has proven that there's much more to her than meets the eye. The red hair is like an exclamation point on this journey of self-discovery and reinvention, a visual declaration that she is not the same person who first captured our attention all those years ago. The public's fascination with Pamela's new look speaks to our broader cultural obsession with celebrity transformations. We are captivated by makeovers, reinventions, and dramatic changes because they reflect our own desires for growth and renewal. When someone like Pamela Anderson makes such a bold change, it becomes a cultural moment that we all participate in, discussing it with friends, sharing it on social media, and seeing ourselves reflected in her journey. What's particularly interesting about Pamela's transformation is how it challenges our perception of aging in Hollywood. At a time when many actresses feel pressure to maintain the looks that made them famous, often resorting to cosmetic procedures to preserve a youthful appearance, Pamela has chosen to embrace change rather than fight against it. Her red hair isn't about trying to look younger, it's about looking different, expressing a new phase of life with confidence and grace. As we reflect on the significance of Pamela Anderson's shocking red hair debut, it's worth considering what this means for her legacy. For decades, she was the quintessential blonde bombshell, a role she played to perfection, but which also limited how the world saw her. By changing her hair color, she's inviting us to see her in a new light, to appreciate the depth and complexity that was always there but sometimes overshadowed by her iconic blonde image. The story of Pamela Anderson's transformation from blonde to redhead is about much more than just hair. It's about courage, reinvention, and the freedom to define oneself on one's own terms. It's a reminder that even the most iconic images can be that the most familiar faces can still surprise us, and that it's never too late to show the world a different side of who you are. As we watch Pamela Anderson embrace this new chapter with her vibrant red locks, we can't help but feel inspired by her willingness to take such a bold step. In a world that often demands consistency from its celebrities, she has chosen evolution over stagnation, authenticity over expectation, and in doing so, she has given us all something to think about. What parts of ourselves have we outgrown? What new expressions of our identity are waiting to emerge? And what would it look like if, like Pamela Anderson, we had the courage to show the world a different side of who we are? The next time we see Pamela Anderson, whether on screen, on a red carpet, or in the pages of a magazine, we'll undoubtedly be drawn to her striking red hair. But hopefully, we'll also see beyond the color to the woman underneath, complex, evolving, and unafraid to challenge our expectations. In the end, that's the real story here, not the change in hair color, but the courage to change, to grow, and to keep surprising us, even after all these years. Disclaimer: the content in this video is based on publicly available information, media sources, and opinions. It is created for entertainment and educational purposes only. We do not claim or guarantee that every detail is 100% accurate.